People think cutting everyone off happens because you're cold, or heartless, or dramatic. But psychology shows something very different. It usually happens because you got tired of being emotionally responsible for everyone except yourself. If you've ever reached a point where replying feels heavy, where conversations feel like obligations, where even people you once cared about start to feel like pressure, this is about you. You didn't wake up one day and decide to disappear. It built up. Slowly. One conversation where you felt unheard. One moment where you gave more than you got back. One situation where you stayed quiet just to keep the peace. And then another and another, until something in you stopped reacting. Here's the part most people get wrong. They think you cut people off because you don't care anymore. But the truth? You cared for too long without being met halfway. So your brain adapted. When someone feels emotionally exhausted again and again, the mind doesn't choose communication. It chooses distance. Not as punishment, but as protection. You're avoiding the exhaustion of being the only one who tries. So instead of fixing the pattern, you remove yourself from it completely. No explanation, no closure, just silence. Because silence feels easier than being misunderstood one more time. Cutting people off isn't being heartless. It's what happens when your emotional capacity quietly collapses by giving all of your heart into someone who didn't serve you good in any way. Let that sit for a second, because this isn't about being done with people. It's about being done with how you feel around them. That's the shift. Every time you cut someone off without saying anything, you reinforce the belief that your feelings won't be understood anyway. So your brain stops trying earlier next time. You become quicker to withdraw, quicker to detach, quicker to disappear, not because people got worse, but because your tolerance for emotional effort got lower. And this is where it gets uncomfortable. At some point, you stop giving people the chance to meet you differently, because you've already decided how it will end. So you leave before it even begins. People call it boundaries, but sometimes it's preemptive disconnection. Now here's the reframe most people never hear. This isn't you being toxic. This isn't you being avoidant. This is emotional burnout. Not the kind that comes from work, but the kind that comes from carrying relationships on your own for too long. You didn't cut people off because you're heartless. You cut them off because you ran out of emotional energy to keep holding everything together. And your brain did what it always does under pressure. It chose the option that reduces pain the fastest. Distance, silence, disappearance. So this isn't cruelty. It's self-preservation that went too far. And no one talks about that part. Now here's the part that actually matters. Over time, you may have started seeing leaving as the only way to feel okay again. Not because you want to disconnect, but because staying started to feel heavier than going. So your brain learned a simple rule. If it feels draining, step away. And that rule protected you. It gave you relief. It gave you space to breathe again. But it also made something else happen quietly. You stopped checking if things could be different this time. You stopped waiting to see if someone might actually meet you halfway. Not because you're negative, but because your past taught you what to expect. So this isn't you ruining connections. It's your brain choosing certainty over uncertainty, distance over disappointment, and that doesn't make you broken. It means you adapted to protect your energy in the only way you knew how at the time. And maybe that part of you still believes it has to. But here's something to sit with. Sometimes the need to leave isn't about the person in front of you. It's about the version of you that got used to carrying too much. And once you see that, something softens, because now it's not just about cutting people off. It's about understanding what made you feel like you had to. And if any part of this felt familiar, you'll probably know exactly which moment, which pattern, or which person this connects to. You don't have to explain it, but if you want to, you can share it in the comment section below, because sometimes putting it into words changes how it feels and makes you feel lighter.